Welcome to Conversations with Della. I'm Della Webb of Inner Peace Movement Studio, and in today's conversation, I am talking with my dear friend, Katelyn Mariah. Katelyn studied art and received a BFA from the U of M with studies at the Minneapolis College of Art and Design. She has a postgraduate degree in art therapy and a psychology degree from St. Mary's. Art has been a big part of Katelyn's spiritual path and physical healing for many years. Beginning in 2016 through 2019, Katelyn had 5 heart attacks and open heart surgery. During this time, she used art to help her heal her body, mind, and soul. She created a series of paintings she calls her Resilient Heart Art that documents her healing journey. Along with her art and therapy degrees, Katelyn is a shamanic practitioner and a sound healing therapist. And she most recently completed a year-long course in herbalism with Rosemary Gladstar. Katelyn will be showing her Resilient Heart paintings at Magus Books beginning July 22nd through September. Welcome, Katelyn.
Hello. I'm so glad to be here.
Yay!
That person sounds pretty awesome.
You know, she is. She really is. So there's so many things that we can talk about. I just kind of want to start with 5 heart attacks and a heart surgery. When did you begin painting? How soon after those heart attacks did you begin this and did you know what you were doing, or did you just start painting? What was going on?
It was 5 days after the first heart attack, I think, or really close, maybe even closer than that. And I wanted to paint something that would give me hope. And the inspiration came to paint anatomically correct hearts, which I thought was really weird.
Yeah,
I'm thinking, who paints hearts?
Yeah,
but I went with it, and I didn't really know that it was going to turn into over 100 paintings.
Wow.
Yeah,
that is stunning.
It is, and the cool part about it was, so I got this first image that really gave me a lot of hope, and then there was a period of time where I didn't paint anything. Maybe I did a few that after that first heart attack. And then, I had the second heart attack in Austria. And I was in a I was in a village, and they had to take me an hour to the nearest hospital, and nobody spoke English. So I'm in a hospital, nobody's speaking English. And the inspiration came to me to keep doing these paintings, and that it would be a big part of my healing. So I think I got home and did the next painting, and I could see, looking at the painting, where I was going in my healing journey. It was like I would look at the painting and I go, oh, okay, I'm going in the right direction. So it was like step by step leading me to my healing.
So it was guiding you. Oh my goodness.
And it was like, this is one of them. This is a self-portrait. And so you can see the hearts down here.
Yeah.
And then all the symbolism. So I would do a painting, and then I would do research on the symbolism. And it was the symbolism. I'm like, oh, it's just telling me these amazing things. And so not only was it healing my body, but it was unraveling things in me that I needed to see in order to heal. So it was like a twofold journey. Pretty amazing.
Can you give us some examples of what kind of unfolded? What did you need to discover? Because I've known you for 25 years or more.
Yeah.
And you've always been one to do the deep dives, do the self-reflection, do the deep work.
Yeah.
And what did you unearth as a result of this journey? I mean, what was left? My goodness, woman. I mean,
what was left was, and you and I have had conversations through the years about why couldn't I find my partner? And it was down to, like we've talked about this too, it gets down to the subtleties.
Yeah.
And you can't see them.
Right.
And here, the first heart attack, and I had three heart attacks that were two different heart attacks at once. But the first one was, I had a fire in my dryer. I opened up the dryer and flames are shooting out, right?
Okay.
So I run up the stairs, I call 911, but at the top of the stairs, I had like terrible chest pains. So when I got out, I wasn't going to tell the paramedics that I was having chest pain. I was just going to say my house is on fire. Be done with it, right? And so I go out there, I'm in my pajamas because I'm doing laundry, right? Mismatched pajamas. And I don't know how many fire trucks and ambulances show up, like 12 attractive firemen. And I walked up to the chief and I said, there's a fire in my dryer and I'm having chest pains. Two of the guys run into the house and the other 10 surround me.
Oh my goodness.
So they take me to the hospital, and the first kind of heart attack I had was what they call stress-induced cardiomyopathy. Okay. The other name for that is broken heart syndrome.
Wow.
And so it was like, oh, shoot. I knew, I got to back up for a minute, because the day before I had this amazing dream. It was like one of these really fast dreams. And in this dream, these beings came in and did a ritual on me. And they put the six-pointed star in my heart, and the vesica Pisces, which is the two circles like that, they put that in my womb.
Wow. I just got chills.
So I'm in the hospital and I'm going, oh my God, this is bigger than just a heart attack. So I knew from the beginning that it was a spiritual initiation. It was just clear to me. And so then I find out that I have this what did I say? Oh, broken heart syndrome, which I had 3 of those. But so I'm like, I'm really going, okay, I get it. I'm supposed to work on my broken heart. Yeah. And so that was the stuff that unraveled. It was like the subtleties of things that I just couldn't see. And the art helped me see that. Yes. So I was unraveling my broken heart, and putting it back together.
Oh my God, that's so beautiful. It's so amazing.
Yeah.
I want to take a little bit of a side trip around the same topic, because I got to witness quite a bit of your journey. And what I was struck by is your fearlessness. Even though you were going through this terrifying process, your fearlessness in the medical system. And I want you to share a little bit about that, because I feel I've always admired this about you and wish I had more of that mojo that you have about just being able to stand up for yourself and your medical rights. Yeah. Most people don't do that because we put the medical personnel on this incredible pedestal, and we don't speak up for ourselves. So can you share a little bit about that?
Well, when I was 34, I had a near-death experience because of a medical, where they made a medical mistake. And from that was the place where I went, no, you know what? I don't trust the medical system. If I feel like there's something that doesn't feel right to me, I'm going to ask. And I'm not going to just take things because a doctor tells me. And so I became my own advocate around the medical stuff really early. And And so I got really good at it. And so when it came to this point, I had to, I built up that courage muscle to be able to say, I don't care if this is a doctor, I'm feeling something different, and I'm going with that.
So,
and
talking about really honoring your inner guidance system.
Yeah. And I was, after this first incident, I was really getting into the natural medicine. That made more sense to me. And so I was working with herbs and just all kinds of different vehicles for natural healing. So I was embedded with that. I was like, that's how I heal. My body, I know my body. I know it really well. And I know that I'm just really highly allergic to pharmaceuticals. With this heart attack, they give you 5 pharmaceuticals. Everyone gets those when you have a heart attack. And I worked my way off of all of them by insisting.
Wow.
And I'm coming up with I'd first find an alternative, like an herbal or natural alternative. Sometimes it's vitamins. And then I would insist on getting off of what they had me on. I didn't want to just take myself off because I didn't know what it would do to my heart. Yeah. So I replaced everything with herbs and minerals and vitamins.
That to me had to be incredibly scary because I remember, again, like I said, I was there for a lot of this journey. And I remember you said whenever they gave you statins that they said you would be on this for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And you started taking them and then you had this horrible reaction. Didn't your hands clench up and you couldn't open your fingers?
I was on statins for 3 weeks. That was it. And my hands went into fists. They swelled up. I had cellulitis and I couldn't open them. My daughter had to take me to the emergency room. Wow. And they did all kinds of tests and they said, we can't figure out what's wrong with you. And I said, take me off the damn statins. And so they did. They said, well, I don't know if that'll help. They did. And that pain in my hands migrated through my whole body before it went away. Wow. It was horrible. And so my regular cardiologist, every time I went in there, she'd say, you got to get on statins. Finally, I said, do you believe in the mind-body connection? And she said, yeah. And I said, then if I'm not in alignment with this medication, it could do more harm than good. She sits back in her chair and she goes, you're right. But I need to tell you this every time you come in because I could lose my license. Wow. So people don't realize that they can just say, no, this isn't good for me. And you have to, but like you said, you have to step out of the fear because when you have a heart attack, when it is your heart and you're trying to get off medication that's supposedly helping your heart, you just don't feel comfortable doing it alone. Right. So I had a naturopath I was working with and she was helping me, I would give her some research and she'd say, okay, let's find it. Let's find this product and see if it'll work. And so I'm working with her and telling doctors I don't want to take their medicine. So yeah, I just kept getting more and more powerful. You were in one of my appointments. Yes. And what you saw in that appointment was how I had to be by myself. Yeah. Yeah. Because I was the only one that was advocating for me, Yeah. And I have a doctor arguing. It was like 10 days after a heart attack. He's arguing with me for 15 minutes. And I'm saying no. So, yeah. And it was such a beautiful thing to witness, over the years. And I, in January, was it January or February? I don't remember, whenever I got the COVID and ended up having to go to the emergency room and finding out that I had
pneumonia, and being in this emergency room, and they just basically said, here, we're going to give you this test and this test and this test. And me not having that courage and that strength to ask questions, and I just go mute. And realizing, after the fact, when they sent me home with this little pill for my cough and nothing for the pneumonia, that in hindsight, right? In hindsight. So I just wanted to highlight that part about you, because I don't think enough people know that they do have the power. They have all the power.
Yeah.
And so thank you for doing that for all of us, my love.
You're welcome. And, I've got Aries. My sun is in Aries and my ascendant is Sag. They just get, when I get into that place, like there's no stopping me. It's like, you got to listen. I'm sure they have warnings in my medical chart.
She's spicy. Look out for her.
Watch out.
So Katelyn.
So yeah, and this heart story is a huge story. I mean, we could talk forever, but
yes.
I'd like to talk about other things.
Yes. So I was actually going to segue into the part of the bio I don't think I talked about, which is that you're an author. How many books have you written?
I think 7.
Yes.
Let's see. 3 children's books, 3 books on alternative healing, and one on I have one book that's all colored pictures of the first 33 paintings in this series, this heart series with commentary. And I think at some point I'm going to put them all together. Okay. Because I think it would be pretty powerful. I think that anybody that sees this artwork is going to have some kind of an experience.
Yes, I can't. They can't not. I mean, I've got your art in my home. I have a Soul Colors portrait, which I want you to tell us about in a second. I have a little. Remember what you made for me for graduating from Kundalini Yoga? Oh yeah, was it a wand or something? It's a little wand, yes, yeah. And I still have it on my altar to this day. I have a little box with your artwork on it. I have both of your decks. Good. Your goddess decks, and so I forgot them. I didn't. So you were just have this incredible talent. Tell us about soul color portraits or soul portraits. So I've been doing them for about over 25 years. I've probably done a few hundred, maybe. I've lost track, but they came after I did the first goddess deck. And that was when I realized that I was channeling my work. I had no idea. And I'll go back to that. But so I realized that I could do that. And one of my friends said, I wonder if you could pull in an image for me, like a soul portrait. And I said, well, we can try. And at that time, I was sitting back to back with my clients, because I thought I had to be in contact. And so we sat back to back in a room that had a circle of like probably 30 women watching. And wow. And I did this amazing painting. I don't know how, because I mean, I have those people staring at me, but so then I knew I could do it. And like I said, I've done at least a few hundred, and the feedback that I get is always like, this is right on. How did you know that? Or one of them I used to do them at parties, and I think there were like, at this one party, there were like 10 women, and I did this one woman, it was all about water. And she says, I don't get it because I don't have a connection with water. And I said, well, somewhere you do. And so about 5 years later, she sends me a message, an email, and she said, you're not going to believe this, but I'm the head of a water conference
and we're bringing Dr. Emoto to the cities. And I'm like, oh, okay. So
That's
sometimes
incredible.
sometimes it's something that's going to come. Sometimes it's just a part of the person that they need to see. And one of my neighbors wants to have one done, and she said, I'm afraid I'm going to see something scary or, bad. And I said, your soul doesn't do that. Your soul wants you to know that you're loved and wants to give you guidance. You're never going to see anything like that. I've never painted anything like that.
So you said about at first you thought you needed to have physical contact. Now you no longer do. You can just tune into them. They can be in California. And you can still
because it's a higher level connection.
Yes.
So you don't need to be with the person. You're connecting with that higher part of them, and you're the higher part of you.
How long does it take you to paint a soul portrait? I know that it takes a little while sometimes for it to download, correct? But then a painting takes about how long?
I'd say depending on the size of the painting, but about 5 hours, maybe 6.
Okay.
And I sit with it until it's done.
Okay.
But like you said, sometimes the image just won't come. And I'm fine with that because I really trust the process. And I know that when it's ready, it'll just show up. And that's what happens. They just show up. And I'm looking at it. I'm going, okay. So
they might order a soul portrait, but it might take a day or two or even a couple of weeks before it to drop in.
Usually it's like, usually sometimes it's the day I get it and I just say their name and it's in my consciousness. Otherwise it might take a few days, up to a week.
Okay.
Just depends.
And so I'll make sure that I put all of your contact information in the descriptions, and we'll know how to get a hold of you.
Yeah.
And so I want to kind of change gears and talk about what we've been talking about for really the last 6 months, which is intentionally living in the present moment. And I really feel, and I tell you this all the time, that I feel like you're so far ahead of me in doing this and practicing this. I want you to tell people or share with people how do you, Katelyn Mariah, get into the present moment?
Okay, so I'll go back to I always set intentions at the beginning of the year. I'll pick a word, or I'll, pick what I want to focus on and what I want to manifest. And this year in this came to me in December. No more words, no more affirmations, no more intentions. You're going to do the present moment this year.
Nothing small and tiny there.
Right. And I'm like, okay. And it's funny, we think we're in the present moment.
Yeah.
The first, I think it was like the first month, I'm like, wow, I'm out of the present moment a lot.
Yeah.
And it's been about fine tuning. And I think one of the biggest problems that I see and that I've experienced in myself is making up stories about what's happening, or what happened, or what's going to happen. And we do it all the time.
Yep.
And so somebody does something or says something, and then you make it palatable so that you understand by writing a little story about it.
Yeah.
And then you respond to the story as if that's that's the person. And so we're never present with people.
Right.
We're always responding to what we think this person is about. And this seems to be falling. Wait a minute.
I didn't even notice.
I have it duct taped to my tripod.
Just be aware, there's no editing. I can edit from the beginning and the end, but we get this. I love it's gonna be great.
And all of a sudden it's just coming towards me. Anyway,
You were in the present moment with your computer.
Yeah. So a lot of what my practice has been this year is dumping the stories.
Oh yeah.
You know, like I don't know which one I want to pick, but
which story?
Yeah. Well, okay, let's pick health.
Okay.
Because we always write stories about that.
Yeah.
You know? Like say I have something or other. Oh, we can do my cat.
Yes. Yes. Talk about Charlie.
So Charlie is my cat. He's, I think, 13 or 14 years old. And he was losing weight. And for the longest time, I thought he had worms because that happens with worms. And so I did this worm medicine and that worm medicine, all these, and nothing was helping. And so I got it in my mind that he was dying of cancer, right? And so I'm preparing. What am I going to do with his body? I bought this paw print thing so I could capture his paw prints. And I'm just, what am I going to do without Charlie? Blah, 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 blah. While I'm doing that, he's going downhill.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I thought he had like 2 days left.
Yeah.
And I was in a conversation with my kids, and my son looked up the symptoms, and I had seen these symptoms before. It didn't click. Mm-hmm. Losing weight and wanting to eat all the time. And so Nate says to me, I think it's hyperthyroidism, Mom. And I went, I can save my cat? And I went back into that warrior mode of, okay, I'm saving this cat. He's going to be around for a long time. And it was like the next day, I hadn't even changed anything. Mm-hmm. The next day, he's like a different cat.
Wow.
And
you did change something. You changed
my story. Like, oh, just change my story. And so I found some herbal remedy that'll help him, changed his food, and he's just like a new cat. He's meeting people at the door like he used to. He's right there. he's not eating as much, and it feels like he's gaining weight.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So that's an example of the stories we tell, and then how that energy affects what, it changes everything. So he's going to be with me for a long time. Because I decided that. And so I've been reflecting lately, I've been reflecting back on things that didn't work out the way I wanted to. Mm-hmm. It was because of the dang stories.
Yes.
And once you start to look at that, it's like, it's like this in your face. Mm-hmm. You start to see where all these things that you were thinking, trying to make happen, thinking if you did it this way, it would work out. It was all story. Mm-hmm. And so I've given up the whole idea of storytelling, which has helped me detach from any kind of angst about the narrative that's around us in the world. Yeah. Because when I'm in the present moment, I know that I'm just pure love and light, and that has a bigger impact on the world than me freaking out about, the narrative.
You said something to me that was so powerful last week, and I was getting all hopped up on some news story, and you just simply said, I'm not going there because that takes me out of the present moment. And I was just like, it just stopped me in my tracks, because it wasn't offensive. It wasn't rude. It was powerful. I'm not going to go there because that takes me out of the present moment. And it was beautiful. If we all just have the courage to stop other people's stories too, because that is where I have always been challenged, is knowing they're writing a story, but yet not knowing how to help them stop.
Yeah.
And that was just such a brilliant, it was very intuitive. It was very natural. It just flowed right out of you. And I was just like, that's brilliant.
Well, and you know what? I had practice for the last 6 years facing death.
Mm-hmm.
I could have left 6 times. And so the idea that something out there is going to kill me, I don't buy into that.
Yeah.
Because I'm still here.
Right. After 5 heart attacks and open heart surgery.
And the reason I'm still here is because I have something important to do.
Yeah.
And I didn't stay to be in a crappy world.
Right.
No, I didn't stay. Yes, I've stayed to watch it fall apart, but I'm also here to watch it come back together in something beautiful. Yeah. And I'm part of that.
Yes. Oh, I love that. So back to the present moment. And so we talked about, so for me, I have to be very intentional whenever I find myself getting out. Now you gave the getting out of the present moment. I have to actually do something very physical, which is put my awareness in my feet. And then I start to breathe. And that brings me back home. Do you have a technique? What is your trick to get back into the present moment?
I've gotten really good at staying there because I've experienced it so much. Mm-hmm. But I kind of just say, you're not in the present moment. Okay. And that just brings me back because, and it's all about fine tuning and paying attention. Mm-hmm. I'm out of the present moment. Okay. Get back. And Abraham Hicks always talked about the vortex. Mm-hmm. Yep. and being in alignment. That's really about being in alignment with yourself in the present moment. Mm-hmm. And one of the biggest things I think I've learned over it'd be 7 months now is, and I've known this, but it really clicked this time. My soul has a contract, a blueprint that it's following, and it's doing everything to make me evolve. That's the purpose of it. And if I just let go of, I'm going to make something happen, because that was always my MO. I was going to make things happen. If I'm in the present moment and trusting that I'm going where my soul is taking me, and that's the best place for me to go, it's so easy. It's so easy. And I'm seeing magic happen all the time. I love this quote from Louise Hay. It's the point of power is in the present moment. Mm-hmm. And the present, the gift, our abundance, our magic is all in the present moment. Yep. And the reason for that is because when we're in alignment, in love, in our heart, in joy, we're magnetic. We're magnetic. Yes. And we're magnetizing things that are for us our highest and best, versus being unconscious and sending out whatever the information that comes out of you and brings back all kinds of stuff you don't want. Mm-hmm. So you're magnetic in the present moment. Yes. Yeah. Oh, I love that. The key to abundance right there. Yep. Key to prosperity, magnetizing, is being present. Yep. I know that if I'm contracted or tight, for me, I'm such a physical person that I can literally feel when I'm out of the present moment, my body starts to clench and tighten up. I can feel my ass getting tight. My glutes just go, and I have to talk to myself and go, you can relax. Yeah. And nothing can come in that contracted state. No. It only happens. And this is not about the present moment. No. Usually it's about anxiety about the future or processing the past. Yeah. And you can't have this, the body
needs to relax. The body is in the present moment, the body is relaxed.
Right. Because when you're contracted, you're pulling in your aura.
Oh, I never thought about that. That's so true.
So you're pulling that in. It's not going to magnetize anything.
Right. In Kundalini yoga, we call that outside of the aura the magnetic field.
See? Exactly.
Yes. So how do people get a hold of you, darling? We'll put everything in the comments or in the description, but just tell people where we can get a hold of you.
Everything that I do, you can get to by my gallery website, and that's KatelynMariahVisionaryArtist.com.
Okay.
And that has links to all my like my books and everything else. You can find all of that there.
One of the things that I so appreciate is the light. So you post something every day on Facebook, and it's such an inspiration. It's so hopeful. It's not the spiritual bypass that you see a lot of people posting. It's just this absolute truth of what can happen in the present moment. And if people want to friend you and say, I saw you on Conversations with Della, so you at least know where that person is coming from, would you be open to having a new friend?
You can't have too many friends.
That's awesome, because I would love people to see the intentionality behind your posts. They're just so thought out and wise, and just this beauty that you're putting out into the universe in so many ways on a daily basis, that I want more people to see that.
Well, at all those posts, I just open up a blank post, and just whatever flows through me is what you get.
Well, it's always inspirational, and always, it deals with reality in a way that says, yes, I see that there is a certain reality out there, but I can still be in my presence, in my present moment, and still be in joy and in love, regardless of what's going on out there. So that's always a beautiful reminder.
Yeah, and that's where we need to be.
Yes. So tell us about the show at Magus Books. That's in Minneapolis, correct? Tell us about Magus. You've got your books are going to be there. Your paintings are going to be there for an entire month and a half.
3 months.
For 3 months. So the paintings are for sale. The books are for sale. You're going to be there. How often will you be there? Tell us about.
Well, so I had a little list that I wrote out. It's upstairs.
Oh,
which isn't going to help any. But my show. I hung my show on the 7th, so it's up now, and I have 14 pieces in there. 12 of them are for sale, and 2 of them are not for sale. And I put the first painting in the series that I ever did, and the last painting in the series, and then the rest of them are all in order. So it's really cool. And they're going to interview me on Thursday. It'll be, I think it's live on Facebook. I'm not sure, but so there'll be an interview, and then the opening is on the 22nd.
Okay.
And on the 23rd, I'm going to be at Everett and Charlie. They're having a big art festival, and so I'm going to be showing my stuff there, showing and selling things there. And then I'm going to be interviewed on The Edge the following week. There's a lot of stuff going on. Maybe it's next week I get interviewed by The Edge. And all of this is happening because I've been in the present moment.
Yes.
And just I've always had this, I want to sell my art, why isn't my art selling? That story. And that story didn't really get me anywhere.
Right.
So my story now is, whatever, I'm going to put it out there, and things will happen because they're supposed to happen. Yeah. And I know that. So I'm not worried about it, and things are happening.
Well, that's excellent. Well, I'll make sure, like I said, to put all of your information in the description line. And thank you so much for doing this with me today. It's been an honor and a pleasure to talk to you, dear one.
It was fun to chat.
To discover more about Della's yoga and meditation classes, wellness coaching, and personal empowerment offerings, please find her at innerpeacemovementstudio.com.